Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this nice, beautiful, sunny day in Dare County. I'm over winter. Hope y'all are too. Welcome to the March the 2nd Dare County Board of Commissioners meeting. And at this time, I'd like to call on the Reverend Thomas Wilson for an invocation. Reverend Wilson, thank you as always for being here.
The beginning of Psalm 133, behold how good and pleasant it is when we dwell in unity. Let this be our desire as we engage in discussions and make decisions that impact others. We trust with grace that we can achieve a sense of unity and work together effectively. May our decisions be filled with respect for one another and achieve the unity that we strive for. This we ask. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Wilson. May we stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. County Manager.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Item 1 on the agenda is the chairman's opening remarks.
Thank you, County Manager. Before I get started, I'd like to recognize David Twitty, our chairman of our Board of Education's here this morning. Our clerk to the court, Dean Tolson's here this morning, and former Vice Chair Wally Overman's here this morning. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here this morning. Appreciate your attendance. I got a lot to cover this morning, so board and public, y'all be patient with me this morning, if you will. As always, one of my favorite parts of the chairman's comments is I like to open with a little bit of humor. This young woman recently lost her husband, and she was talking to her best friend about after the funeral was over with. And she was telling her friend that her husband had left her with $20,000 in cash, and that she was broke. Well, her friend said, how's that? And she said, well, I paid $5,000 for the casket and the funeral, and the remaining $15,000 for a stone. And her friend said, wow, how big was the stone? She held her hand up and said, about 2.5 carats.
Robert.
I don't make them up, folks. I just tell them. This past week, Saturday, was the polar plunge. And I'm going to have a picture I'd like to show up on the screen for you folks of my fellow commissioners that participated in the polar plunge. Now, my fellow commissioners, I had every intention of doing that, but I had a Board of Commissioners meeting for the Lost Colony.
Checks in the mail.
From 10 o'clock in the morning till 1:30 that afternoon. So thank you, Lost Colony, for helping me not freeze to death. But anyhow, this is our fellow commissioners, our vice chair, Commissioner Ross, Commissioner Ballot, and Commissioner Burris. Understand there were some 400 plus participants, and they raised over $81,000. That's incredible.
They only had a $60,000 goal.
And Steve did jump in a full suit.
Yes,
Yeah.
we see that. We see that.
That was my swimsuit.
That was his swimsuit, yeah. Once you see that.
This past week, the county manager, myself, and our lobbyist, Johnny Tillett, Harry Kaplan, drove to Jacksonville to meet with Senator Lazara. He's from Onslow. He has a special interest in transportation issues throughout the state, and we were able to share with him. We're looking for as many representatives, senators, legislators as we can to help us with our NC-12 issues and our transportation, and he was very available to listen to us and hear our concerns, and he will take it back to the legislature. But he promised us that he knows how important our concerns are with NC-12, and he has our full support, and he will do anything he can in the legislature to help us find solutions to help us with NC-12. Along those lines, the county manager, myself, and Commissioner Balance will be heading to Raleigh this Thursday after our Wednesday meeting with the Coastal Counties Fishing Coalition. We'll be heading after that meeting to Raleigh to attend the Joint Legislative Transportation Oversight Committee. That's an important meeting that they're having in Raleigh first thing that morning. We understand that we'll have an opportunity to share with that committee once again our NC-12 concerns and issues that we have. And then right after that meeting, I've mentioned before that Senator Rabin responded to my letter that I sent all the legislators in November about putting money in the beach nourishment fund that they established several years ago, which they never put any money in. So he's on board with doing that. He's on board with short-term and long-term solutions to NC-12. And the third thing, he's on board with eliminating the hardened structure that the state has kept us from doing anything like that. So I'm anxious to, from county manager and Commissioner Balance, to hear that as well, because he's had multiple conversations with me, text with me, that he's on board with all three of those issues. So he wants to sit down and formulate a plan as to how we address all three of those issues. And if you don't know him, he's a mover and shaker in the Senate. So I'm being cautiously optimistic that he can help us. The other concern I have is for our commercial fishermen, families, and folks out here, that I have a reliable source that says after tomorrow, if Berger in fact is reelected, he will bring this banning of trawling for shrimp in the Sound back up in the short session. So our commercial fishermen and their families, we may have to do the same thing that we did before, go to Raleigh in droves. And also I'll have this on the agenda for the Coastal Counties Fishing Coalition midweek for us to discuss how we can address this and how we can once again, as a unity in 20 counties in opposition to this, and sharing our concern with the legislature. That meeting, of course, the Coastal Counties Coalition will be held Wednesday. It's a central location for us, and it'll be held in Morehead City at 1 o'clock. Tomorrow's Election Day. I don't have to tell you, there's been stuff all over the social media about Election Day. not sure who your party is, who you support. The main thing is I encourage you, if you have not voted early, to at least exercise your right to vote tomorrow. And it's an important election year, and your voice and vote counts. So please go to the polls and vote. I think I was just passed a note, some 4,200 plus residents in Dare. That's nowhere near the amount of voting folks in this county have voted in early elections. So tomorrow is critical. We need you to get out and exercise your right to vote. Our country's in having tough times and seeing a lot of things going on throughout our country. And I just want to remind you, as citizens in our country, that this recent bombing of Iran by Israel and the United States is serious. We've lost some servicemen, members, and I want you to please keep our troops in your thoughts and prayers as our country deals with this situation with Iran. So please keep in mind your thoughts and prayers for our servicemen who are overseas and even here at home. Be with them and be with their families, and God bless their families for the sacrifices that they make for their loved ones being away. So pray for them and hope that they will certainly come home safely. The state of the county is sold out. It's at Captain George's on March the 18th at about 8:15 in the morning. I'll start the presentation around 9. I've extended that presentation again this year. I'll be going to Hatteras Island on Saturday and doing the state of the county on Hatteras Island. It'll be held at the high school auditorium. Those folks of you in Hatteras that please sign up. You don't have to sign up. You can show up, but sign up. It'll at least give us an idea of how many folks to expect. So you can go online on our webpage and sign up if you will. It'll just help us. Pardon?
It's free.
Yeah, it's free. Please, if you're there and available on Saturday, please come. We'd love to have you. Looking forward to doing that state of the county on the 18th here in Dare at Captain George's. And of course, last but not least, I'd like to make some remarks about the Dare 250 passport program. It's my pleasure to recognize a Dare County resident whose enthusiasm for local history truly reflects the spirit of Dare County as the land of beginnings. I'd like to introduce you to Murray Parker, who is a resident of Nags Head and the first person to officially complete the recently launched Dare 250 passport program. Since the program launched just January the 1st of this year, Mr. Parker has fully embraced the experience, making the effort to visit all 13 locations throughout Dare County, which is an accomplishment worthy of special recognition. As many of you may already know, the Dare 250 passport program is a key part of our 2026 commemoration of America's 250th anniversary. It invites residents and visitors to experience the remarkable places where history unfolded in our community over the past several centuries. The program connects participants with 13 historic sites across our community, including the Wright Brothers National Memorial, Fort Riley National Historic Site, Chickamaucomico Life Saving Station, Bodie Island Lighthouse, Jockey Ridge State Park, Jeanette's Pier, Island Farm, Bethany Church, Graveyard of the Atlantic Museum, Pea Island Cookhouse, Buffalo City, Flat Tops of Southern Shores, and the Monument to a Century of Flight. At each stop, participants scan a QR code to collect digital stamps, creating a personal journey through centuries of local history. You can learn more at dare250.org/passport. Mr. Parker didn't just participate, he completed the entire experience in remarkable time. His curiosity, initiative, and pride in our shared heritage sets a wonderful example for our entire community during our year-long A250 celebration. Mr. Parker accomplished captures exactly what the program is meant to inspire: exploration, appreciation, and connection to the people and places that have shaped the community we call home. On behalf of the Dare County Board of Commissioners, thank you for leading the way and encouraging others to begin their own Dare A250 passport journey. Mr. Parker, if you'll join me at the podium, I'd like to present to you with the Dare County A250 passport program, John Hancock Certificate of Appreciation. You've been busy, my friend.
I have.
You've been busy.
I've enjoyed it.
I know you. I'm sure you have.
It was nice.
Mr. Parker, it's a certificate of completion from the Dare County Board of Commissioners. You've earned this ranking of John Hancock.
All right.
You visit all passport locations. We want to thank you for participating in the county's A250 passport program.
Thank you. And I would like to say that everyone involved in this program did an awesome job. I mean, it was very enjoyable and interesting. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Fantastic. Well,
Thoroughly
thank you for
enjoyed it.
thank you for
Thank you.
what you did. County Manager, that concludes my remarks.
Chairman, that brings us to item 2 on our agenda. That's the service pins. Today we have 55 years of service that we're going to recognize. First up is Adriana Velasco. She'll come up and receive her 10-year pin from Daniel Stein.
Her eyes got real big, so she's going to come up here soon and say, come here, girl. Adrian.
Good morning and welcome, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good Monday morning to all of y'all. Can you hear me okay? Yes. All right. My name is Danielle Stein. I'm the in-home aid supervisor with the in-home aid program with Department of Human Services. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Department of Health and Human Services. It is my honor to express my gratitude and appreciation for this wonderful woman beside me, Adriana Velasco. She receives her 10-year pin today. Adriana is a certified nursing assistant. She provides her clients with assistance with ADLs. ADLs are activities of daily living such as bathing, grooming, toileting, dressing, and mobility. And often as time passes, functional independence may become difficult due to age, disability, injury, or chronic conditions. This hands-on support that Adriana provides with everyday activities ensures that her clients live safely and independently in their homes. If not, they would rather have to live in an institutional setting, and that is not the goal of our program, is to keep them independent and safe in their home. Along with working as a full-time in-home aide, Adriana is married, which will be 12 years September? 11 now, 12 in September, and is constantly a bright spot in everyone's day. Outside of work, Adriana has been an avid runner. She has received many recognitions and several first-place finishes in 5K competitions. She is so outstanding, she actually won the first race she ever competed in. With all her energy, I often refer to her as the Energizer Bunny. She never stops working, and her work ethic is beyond exceptional. Adriana holds herself to the highest standards and does not stop until she is satisfied with the service she has provided to her clients. Adriana's talents of professionalism and clinical skills have helped numerous clients throughout the years. She has touched so many lives in this community, I cannot begin to count the number of people who are living a better life because of her. Adriana is always willing to help in whatever way possible, no matter the task. When she is given an assignment, it will be completed before I can even finish my sentence. I hope she realizes what an asset she is to myself and to all of her coworkers. Adriana is an essential team player. In the past, she has volunteered to cover a client caseload when another aide was out on extended leave. This kind of dedication ensured that the client would receive consistent care in a timely fashion. Adriana has demonstrated a natural compassion and connection to others. This is not a skill that can be taught. Her heartfelt compassion towards her coworkers and clients go above and beyond her duties as an in-home aide. She demonstrates extraordinary empathy, dedication, and initiative with every task that she completes. It is with great pride that I present this 10-year service pin to Adriana, with hopefully many, many more years to come. This recognition reflects the county's appreciation for her dedicated years of service and is a symbol of her professional success. Adriana, I want to express my personal appreciation for your years of service and want you to know that you are a most valued team member. Your skilled abilities and compassion are the basis for the continued service we provide to the residents of Dare County. Dedicated and loyal employees are very difficult to find. You, my dear, are one of the reasons why the in-home aid program continues to be successful. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, if Gina Dixon would come forward to receive her 15-year pin from Chief Jenny Collins.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies.
I'm going to introduce Gina Dixon, who's one of our advanced EMTs with us. Gina comes from a long history of public safety. Her grandfather was the fire chief of Portsmouth Fire and Rescue, where both her brother and father were firefighters with Portsmouth too. And she's got a nephew in Norfolk Fire and Rescue.
Did you say Portsmouth?
Portsmouth, yeah.
That's P-Town to us.
P-Town, yes, sir.
That's P-Town for us, Portsmouth.
And she'll correct you if you pronounce it incorrectly, so. So she grew up listening to scanners, and it was just something that was normal in the household. And when the calls came out, it was never an interruption of their day. It was a reminder for their family and how they serve their community. So prior to EMS, her previous life, she worked in an orthodontic clinic as a treatment coordinator. In fact, for 7 years, when the orthodontist traveled to Dare County, she would come down here with them. She got hired on in 2011, and actually 1 year on the Dare dental van before her transition over into EMS. So going back on the EMS timeline, in 2003, she got her EMT through Dare County EMS when they were teaching the program, and her advanced EMT in 2010. And so after 1,000 of hours of volunteering with Dare EMS in 2012 is when she transferred over from the dental van and came over to EMS full-time. She'll tell you that her career has been dedicated to selfless service to others. There's moments of heartbreak, but there's also the triumph where you're invited into somebody's worst day and you're there to trust it and make it better. And those moments are the reminders of why she started in EMS and what continues to keep her in EMS today. Always with a smile, always helping coworkers. She sets up for training events. She helps us with training events. You'll find her at Dare Days, our open houses, career days. She's just a great ambassador, not only for the department, but for the county also. She works with a lot of students who are coming through the COA program and riding along with us. I always get great feedback from the students in the college. She gives her time. She often helps out with the Lions Club for their visually impaired fishing tournaments. She is a master at organization. We can give her the worst storeroom ever and tell her to Gina eyes it, and it comes out, and everything's organized, labeled, and in its proper place, and she threatens you if you move it from that spot. She's lived in Dare County now for 32 years. She's been married for 24 years. Her husband, Chris, works for us. He was in the back a few minutes ago, but he's out running a call right now. She's got 3 kids and 4 grandkids. So Gina, for 15 years of wonderful service, thank you very much. Let me give you that pin, and we know there's many, many more. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, if Shanna Fulmer would come forward to get her 30-year pin.
Welcome this morning, Shanna.
Good morning. Thank you.
It's always nice to come up here. When I come up here, they're always the ones that have the silver or the diamond in the thing, because they're all the ones that have long terms of service, and Shanna's certainly one of those. 30 years is a long time. Shanna's been with us in public works since she started working for Dare County, so her whole career has been in public works. And she started out as in doing administrative stuff and worked her way through the ranks and came all the way up and is now our director. It's interesting to know a little bit about what public works does. Everybody probably immediately thinks about sanitation and picking up the trash, and which is a big part of what they do and what Shanna supervises. But it also includes all the maintenance of the facilities that we have and the grounds what we have. And I think we have over 100 buildings that are on the list that need some type of maintenance, and that comes under her responsibility. All the county vehicles, all those white cars and trucks and vans that you see out there, all the garbage trucks, all the equipment that you have, everything that we use to run the county, that all comes under public works. When you look at the transfer station, if you've been out there in that big hill, all that where the garbage gets transferred to the big trucks, that's hers. The C&D landfill, that comes under public works. Our recycling program throughout the county, all that comes under public works. Did I miss anything? It's a big menu. It's a big menu and a large responsibility, and it's one of our larger departments, as you know, when you start looking at employee lists or budgets and things like that, you can tell. So it is a big task, and she does it well, has done it well, has grown into the job well, and we've been lucky to have her for all this time. The department has improved from where it was, and it's improved year over year over time, and it's through her leadership and her efforts that those things have happened. So Shanna, for 30 years of service, thank you so much. I hope we get some more. I won't say how many, but 30 years is a long time, and thank you for your hard work.
5 o'clock today.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman, that brings us to our Employee of the Month. And for our Employee of the Month for February, if Noah Gillum would come forward to make that presentation.
Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome.
Morning, Chairman, Commissioners. This morning I had the pleasure of presenting Barton Grover with the February Employee of the Month Award. Barton started his career with Dare County in 2020 in the Planning Department as the Dare County Soil and Water Conservationist, where he assisted residents with finding solutions for shoreline stabilization, erosion issues, and stream debris removal. After several successful years in that position, Barton was promoted to his current role as the Grants and Waterways Administrator. Barton has excelled greatly in this position, and the work he has completed is nothing short of astounding. Barton's hard work and dedication in the position has resulted in Dare County being awarded numerous significant grants with an estimated value of over $25 million. These grants range from FEMA hazard mitigation grants for house elevations to stormwater mitigation grants and everything in between. Barton also in his current position serves to the pleasure of the Oregon Inlet Task Force and the Dare County Waterways Commission. Barton works directly with our local officials state and federal agencies, consultants, EJE dredging, and our local watermen and women to ensure our inlets and waterways remain open and safe. Most of all of Barton's assignments, tasks, and responsibilities are challenging and complex, but his dedication and perseverance in overcoming challenges has been paramount to his success. Barton is self-motivated and a pleasure to work alongside. We should all be honored to call him a colleague and a friend. Congratulations, Barton. Very much today.
Next, we have our Employee of the Month for March, and if Jessica King would come forward to make that presentation.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. For the March Employee of the Month, I have the privilege of presenting Ray with that. Ray proves himself every day to be a vital part of the water department team. The area we live revolves around the tourist season, and water is no different. During the season, the focus is on water production. The off-season is the time for projects. This off-season has been full of critical infrastructure projects, and Ray has played a vital role in all of them. He goes above and beyond every project to get the job done efficiently. The majority of these projects come with a ticking clock. Ray's ability to understand the importance of the task at hand allows him to get the job done. Each project also comes with unforeseen challenges. Ray is able to pivot with each challenge to make sure the job is completed correctly. This winter, without Ray, we would not have been able to complete the projects that we did. His knowledge, skill, and dedication are an incredible asset to the department and the county. His work ethic is admirable. Every day he leaves work having accomplished something that is to the benefit of the department, whether it is a small task such as cleaning up around a facility or something larger as repairing a critical piece of infrastructure. I personally have been able to spend time out in the field working one-on-one with Ray. I am grateful for each of those opportunities as it allowed me to learn so much. Working with Ray has shown someone who genuinely cares about the job they are doing and someone whose goal is to leave a place better than they found it.
This is yours also.
Next, if Elizabeth Riley would come forward now to present our Employee of the Year.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Good morning. I am honored today to be presenting the 2025 Dare County Employee of the Year. Dare County's employees are our #1 asset, as we all know. They give it their all and make Dare County the best. Dare County would not be what it is if it wasn't for our employees who work tirelessly around the clock to provide our residents and visitors. We are extremely fortunate to have each and every employee full and part-time. Each month, subordinates, supervisors, and department heads nominate employees who go above and beyond in the line of duties, employees who go the extra mile, employees who shine bright. The nominations come to Human Resources, and then the Employee of the Month Committee meets to discuss and decide on the stellar employee. The committee is made up of past Employee of the Month recipients. At this time, I would like to introduce those who were on the committee. If you'll please stand and remain standing. Misty Parnell, Health and Human Services; Matt Hester, Information Technology; Dustin Peel, County Manager's Office; and Carlene Darcy, EMS. Thank you for what you have done in 2025 to make the program a success. The Employee of the Year is chosen from the 12 recipients that received Employee of the Month throughout 2025. Now for the 2025 Employee of the Month recipients. Please stand and remain standing. Nikki Caldwell, EMS; Skylar Foley, County Commissioners; Lori Seal, Water; Melissa Turnage, Health and Human Services, Social Services Division; Kara Hannaran, EMS; Tricia Allen, Library; Gordon Price, Facilities Maintenance; Jessica Brickey, Health and Human Services, Social Services Division; Brooke Atwell Rusk, EMS; Mike Kerr, IT; Dustin Respis, Water; and Laura Kistler Brown, Health and Human Services, Social Services Division. Thank you all for what you have done to make Dare County a wonderful place to work and live. You are true. You are truly our asset, and we sincerely appreciate you. Now for the 2025 Employee of the Year. Congratulations to Clerk to the Board, Skylar Foley. I've been lying for a month now. And I have been lying for over a month now, so I'm really happy this is done. So come on over, everyone.
Folks, I just want to share with the public and those that are here today. You have no idea the amount of hours that Skylar puts in for us. She's not been our clerk that long, but she has just taken over that job and run with it. She has 7 commissioners along with a county manager and departments that she has to respond to. And I can't tell you how many emails the 7 of us get throughout the day. And she helps with each of us commissioners in responding to those. She reaches out to our lobbyists in Raleigh, communicating with them. She has my itinerary daily of meetings that I have with phone calls, Zoom meetings, and meetings outside the county on behalf of the county. She keeps track of that for myself and my fellow commissioners. And she's now, I put this monkey on her back too with doing the minutes and the agendas for the Coastal Counties Fishing Coalition, which involves some 19 counties. She has to keep track of that, communicating with each one of those county chairmen and the person that represents that county on that board. I can go on and on, but I cannot emphasize enough how this young lady has stepped in a role and just run with it. And she's gone to schooling, she's taken classes for clerks to the board, and no matter how busy she is, time off, I communicate with her on Saturdays and Sundays, and I hate doing that, but sometimes, I have to do that with my schedule as chair of this board. And she's Johnny on the spot, responds to my texts. She'll take care of making a phone call or making arrangements for myself, even over on the weekend. So, Skylar, please know how much this board appreciates you and the work that you do for us.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I was a little unprepared. I just want to say thank you. Well, I just want to say thank you all. It's an honor to work here, and it's an honor to be here for you guys. And I will say, Dare County is full of amazing people. And we really couldn't do it without all of our staff either. So thank you guys so much, and I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Skylar.
That brings us to item 5 on our agenda, which is public comment. Before we go to public comment, all of you that received awards, please go out through this door right here so we can have a picture made. you've not signed up, please raise your hand. When you do, I'll recognize you. Please come to the podium, state your name and where you're from. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. There's a green light on the podium that'll come on when your time begins. There's a yellow light that will come on when you have about a minute left. And when the red light comes on, please conclude your remarks. On the sign-up sheet, the only one I have is Katie Morgan.
Welcome this morning, Katie.
Hey, I was nervous, but now half the room just left, so I feel a little better now. I didn't want to bring down the mood, but okay. I'm Katie Morgan, and I'm here today because I'm confused with recent decisions made, and I personally feel like the board's priorities are backwards. We just heard at the last meeting that the sanitation department has about 10 open positions and little to no applicants. We were told that it would take about $260,000 a year to get those workers an $8,000 raise, with only about $109,000 of that coming from the general fund. $8,000 a year is a lot of money to a lot of people, and it would immediately help some local families. Also, it's not an outrageous number. It's a practical solution to a real workforce and housing problem. All right, let's rewind to last October. This board voted 6-1 to spend $400,000 launching, which is $200,000 over a 2-year period, launching a brand new affordable housing nonprofit. This startup has no clear construction plans, no defined performance metrics, and some of that money is actually set aside intended for marketing to try to change the public's opinion. It was said that the nonprofit came to the county first instead of the towns because it knows that the county has money set aside for affordable housing, $12 million to be exact, which is set aside sitting somewhere. During that October meeting, $400,000 was described by the chairman as, quote, a drop in the bucket. To the taxpayers earning that money, $400,000 is not a drop in the bucket. And to the county employees that could have also seen that $400,000 going towards raises in their pockets is not a drop in the bucket. And let's be honest, the public has already spoken on government funding housing. When $35 million in affordable funds went back to the state, that said something. This is not a NIMBY issue. It's about trust, and many of the voters here in Dare County simply do not support government-run housing initiatives, period. End of story. If the real issue is workhouse retention and housing strain, then the most immediate solution is straightforward. Increase your wages. By increasing county workers' pay, the county would be helping at least 800 workers and their families instantly. Y'all need to invest in the people who are already working here. Make Dare County employment not just competitive, but genuinely desirable. That strengthens local families right now. The $400,000 committed to start the Dare Housing Foundation nonprofit could have gone straight to helping county workers facing housing costs, delivering immediate impact without expanding government. But instead, we now have a tax increase headed to the ballot, framed as Parks and Recs funding to cover a laundry list of updates. Even though those dollars ultimately flow into the general fund and can be used for anything. And I'm curious how this will all play out because back in 2024, I was told by someone that is usually in this room that a major sports complex will be built in Stumpy Point, and that if I got in this person's way, I was going to get, quote, steamrolled. I actually have that conversation somewhere recorded on my phone. Anyways, if this tax does get passed, I hope that the money truly does get equally distributed to all of the Parks and Recs facilities, and we don't just build the next big shiny thing that will ultimately go unmaintained and understaffed. Here's what it all looks like from the outside. New programs, more spending, and higher taxes to sustain it. To me, that's not limited government, that's growth in government. So over the past few years, as I've paid closer attention, because I never really have until I had kids, right? I realized that I do align much more with Republican principles. As I stated, even when I was running as a Democrat, I do align more with Republican principles at a very, very local level, meaning I do believe in fiscal restraint. I do believe in smaller local government, and I do believe in focusing on core services first. That's why I've changed my party affiliation, and I hope that the local Republican Party will be welcoming because they will be seeing a lot more of me in the very near future. In conclusion, I'm going to end with this. I say, before creating new nonprofits that don't even have clear vision and throwing money at a problem that the community has already said on multiple occasions we do not want, and asking the residents for more tax dollars, why not fully invest in the workforce, which would ultimately help with housing? And how about we fund the services we already have? That seems like a responsible place to start with me. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak at public comment?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
You can't get back. You got that right.
Thank you.
What's your name, sir?
I'm Barry Holt, also known fondly as Fuzzy in some corners of the world.
Okay.
I'm a veteran, and I'm here for our veterans. And I would like just to ask consideration for our VSO officer to become a full-time position. We have a lot of veterans in this county, and that's my request, that you could consider that for us veterans. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
Other public comment? Anybody else for public comment? Yes, ma'am. Come forward, please.
I've heard that from other veterans around here as well. That's not-
Good morning. Many of you know me already from my years advocating for the replacement of the Bonner Bridge over Oregon Inlet. But for those of you who don't, my name is Natalie Perry Kavanaugh. I'm a resident and business owner on Hatteras Island, and I am still a bridge mom. Just to remind everyone, the bridge moms did not push for one option or another, but asked our leaders to make their decisions about what to do to keep Highway 12 open in a timely manner. When the Bass Knight Bridge was built, we were happy to see the corridor intact and plans for the other threatened areas of the highway being considered. In the past few years, for whatever reasons, not all of those areas of concern have been able to be completely addressed. I was pleased to see the work of the NC-12 task force being done and the beginning steps of the Sand Stakeholders Initiative, and I support them wholeheartedly. Unfortunately, each year we still saw more and more damage to our road and more days of closures through storms. And that brings me to the fall of 2025 and a nor'easter that caused the ocean to breach the dunes on Pea Island. And to my horror, I watched on social media as a small white car that was driving on the state-maintained and open highway get hit by a wave and wash from side to side in the storm waters out of the driver's control. I knew then it was time to start looking for more help for our only way on and off our island. At the end of October, I reached out to Greer Beaty, who was our contact in the North Carolina Department of Transportation during our Bridge Mom's early days, although she is in the private sector now, to see what she thought about for the future of our highway. When I told her how fragile the road had become and how helpless we were feeling here, she began to come up with some ideas on who to talk to and how we could be helped. She brought Jim Trogdon into the conversation, and I asked Beth Midgett to join us. We have been talking about how we needed help and what we could do to get that help throughout these winter months. One of the reasons personally that I'm so involved with the Bonner Bridge replacement project was that my grandfather, Vernon Lee Perry, worked for the North Carolina Highways Department as an engineer. He was the man on the scene for many of the roads and bridges being built in eastern North Carolina, including the Bonner Bridge. He was known for his dedication to the safety of the traveling public on his roads. My dad tells stories of him seeing something wrong when they were out traveling with the family and going out of his way to find a house with a telephone so he could call into the office about that issue, usually to my grandmother's annoyance, making them late for wherever it was they were going. I did not inherit his engineering abilities. But I did, however, inherit his concern for keeping people safe. I know that Beth Midgett, who is here with me today, shares that concern. I know that you, the Dare County Board of Commissioners, share that concern, and that Greer, Beaty, and Jim Trogdon share that concern. I ask you to consider bringing them on to work with us to get this road in better shape for our future. It's going to be a full-time job to make that happen. I don't have the skill set to do it. You all have a full plate of important things you need to do to keep this county strong and successful. I feel that hiring Greer Beaty's Consulting to assist us is a good investment in the solutions for Highway 12, and I look forward to working with you to see them through. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie.
Other public comment? Anyone else? Sure, come up, please.
Welcome this morning, Beth.
Good morning. Beth Midgett from Hatteras. Hard to follow up on that, but first I want to thank you guys for everything you do for us. I know you, as Natalie says, have a full plate, and we really appreciate all the hard work. I'm here to speak, obviously, in favor of the agenda item 6, the hiring of consultant and technical advisory team for North Carolina Highway 12. As we're all aware, we need near, mid, and long-term strategies for NC Highway 12. The task force did a wonderful job in identifying the longer-term needs, and I'm thankful for their hard work. In the near term, however, we know that the current way that we are keeping Highway 12 passable is not sustainable. Pushing mounds of sugar sand into dunes is not a thing that either feels like or projects stability to our community or to the traveling public, though I am very, very grateful for the pushing of that sand. NCDOT works tirelessly on our behalf. We need another answer while we are also pursuing our other potential long-term options, whether those longer-term options are bridging outside of the right-of-way, moving the road itself, hardened structures, or other ideas. All those options are and will still be on the table in the long run, and we will work together as a community to make these things happen. The most urgent question is, what can we do now? What can be done that could potentially get funded and bring relief as early as this year? If we stay within the right-of-way and retreat vertically, so to speak, we might be able to keep a more stable corridor while the other longer-term options are in the works. I am not an engineer. That being said, there are temporary bridging options that can be cost-effective, pre-built, and pre-staged for when we need them. Not if we need them, when we need them. Jim Trogdon, as past Secretary of NCDOT, is one of the best persons that could be tapped to help for this push. He knows the challenges of North Carolina Highway 12 on Hatteras Island intimately. In my opinion, having worked with him for years, we could not have a better person to help bring to fruition a funded plan to keep up with our most urgent access issues. He helped navigate and fund us through the lawsuit that ultimately culminated in not only the replacement of the Oregon Inlet Bridge, but also the Jug Handle Bridge and the Etheridge Bridge. He is an engineer to the core. He thinks, how can we, not why we can't. Greer served as Deputy Secretary under Jim at NCDOT and has worked on efforts all across our state, including the creation of Dix Park in Raleigh. She's just retired, and Jim has brought her in to help him. Her specialty is really building consensus and communication and getting the public also engaged. The harsh reality is we as a community do not have a high enough year-round population to score us for significant major investment under the NCDOT STIP funding plan. We will need to think out of the box and tap other resources. This plan will define the near, mid, and long-term strategies and to identify all the possible funding that could be available to us. Being strategic in our approach and understanding all our options will help us reach our goal. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Beth.
Any other public comment this morning? Anyone else? Any public comment from Buxton?
Yes, we have one speaker, Cheryl Danback. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Cheryl Danback, and I live in Frisco. I'm here to voice my concern over the growing coyote population / problem on Hatteras Island. You probably have seen social media covering the coyote threats on Hatteras. The coyote I heard all of that, but didn't feel threatened till a coyote came out of the brush towards my daughter and our dogs at night this past December. It wasn't afraid of her or the floodlight she directed on it. It stood, it looked at them, and then walked up the street. Later that night, around 4 in the morning, I woke up to the yipping of coyotes in my backyard. I think the mom coyote that we saw earlier probably brought back food for them and they were celebrating. Then in January, a friend sent me a text warning me to be careful taking the dogs out that night and a recording of a coyote pack off Lullaby Lane. And I'd just like to play that for you quickly now. With me. This is on Lullaby Lane in Frisco, and I'm really concerned. That's a mom saying that's why you can't go outside at night to a little child. Anyway, I have spoken to the Dare County Animal Control and the North Carolina Wildlife. There's rules and regs, I understand, so there's really no help there right now. The ocean, the sound, and the inlet prevent coyotes from moving into new territory, so they come into our neighborhood looking for food. One person headed north on 12 in Rodanthe, pre-dawn this was, saw a large coyote and smaller ones running towards the bridge, probably in desperation for food. I lived in Beargrass 2 years with acres of Weyerhaeuser timber behind me, and I never heard or saw a coyote because they can travel north, south, east, west, multiple directions for food and territory, because they need new territory. In Frisco, I hear them on a weekly, sometimes lately, daily basis, because they're breeding now. The coyotes are geographically trapped here. I don't see why the coyotes on Hatteras Island can't be trapped and relocated to a preserve where they will stay far from people. They can't leave on their own. So I hope something can be done to make it safe for Hatteras residents and pets and help the coyotes find new territory. Thank you for hearing me out.
I know we don't usually respond to public comment, but to the woman in Buxton, I actually have all the depredation permits myself personally. So call on the county phone number that's listed on the site, and if you have private property, I can handle that issue for you personally.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other public comments?
No further comment from Buxton.
That, Mr. Chairman, we'd move on to item 6, and this is a presentation from Greer Beaty Consulting for NC 12 Bridging the Gap of Affordable Housing. To set that up a little bit, the Highway 12 Task Force met for what, over a year, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. Year and a half.
Did I say housing? I meant Highway 12.
Highway 12
yeah.
Task Force.
And came up with a report and a plan that had all the stakeholders in it and everything in it. And it was a broad-based look at it, and everybody agreed with what the issues were, and everybody agreed with what the solutions were. As we began meeting, and many of you all were at these meetings, we met with our legislative delegations in Raleigh. We met with, I don't know, the last at least 2, maybe 3 secretaries up there about that. And what we found in those meetings was everybody agreed we had a problem. Everybody acknowledged that what the solutions were correct, but nobody had a solution of how we would fund such projects because the dollars are extraordinary to do what the task force proposed. And so we continue to meet. The chairman mentioned earlier that we met with Senator Lazaro this week. We had met with him once before in his office in Raleigh, and we'd met with him once before that even. And so we've been up there several times. We've met with the secretaries of the 2 transportation in the House and the Senate. And as I said before, we met with the Secretary of Transportation. And in all of those things, they came up that we needed to find some interim solutions because it would be a long time and difficult to find dollars as big as it required to do what the NC 12 task force had recommended. And so to that end, we began working on it. And you heard from Natalie this morning. She came to us and talked to us about Greer Beaty and Jim Trogdon. I remember Jim Trogdon from when he was at DOT before, and so we did have a relationship with them and dealing with other issues on Highway 12 way back then. And so they come for us today with a proposal to look at this thing and to start thinking about maybe smaller chunks and more affordable projects and try to take this a little piece at a time to try to ultimately get to our end goal, which is to preserve access. And so with that said, I'll turn it over to Greer and let her come and tell us about what they are and what they can do for us.
Good morning, and thank you for not asking me to have a proposal about affordable housing today. I was not prepared, but thank you again, and I appreciate all the work that you all do. Natalie's right. She reached out and stood some other folks and said, "Okay, who can we talk to? What can we do? Everyone's supportive. Everyone agrees with the long-term solution. What can we do now?" I am not an engineer. Unfortunately, General Trogdon could not be with us. He had a family obligation that he could not change for today. But my experience with working with him, and I think Beth said the same, is that he is a very creative thinker and a problem solver. And so as as he retired and I recently retired and we've been speaking with y'all, the idea came forth that we thought we came up with sort of a strategy to help take some of the burden off of you all, where we could help look at what are the immediate options, what can be done to give some relief as quickly as possible, and what are maybe some creative funding options. This isn't a technical study. I think we all agree that we know what's going on, and the studies have been remarkable, been extensive. The partnerships are strong. Everyone in the community is agrees with what the goal is. What our services would be to help you all navigate the strategy on how to get there, include in the short term and in the midterm. DOT has been very dedicated and very committed and worked very hard to keep that road open. And this isn't in lieu of their work. This is really just being a resource to help you all come up with the options to put forth to see what we can do. Both Jim and I have great love for North Carolina and for the Outer Banks, and if we can be of service in our retirement, we would love to do so.
One other thing that I'll add as you all consider this, in our meeting with Senator Lazaro last week, the chairman sort of took him through this process and told them what we're considering this morning with Greer and Jim, and he was all on board. He said that was a great idea because a plan such as this gives him tools that he needs to help us advocate in the General Assembly to maybe get some of these things done. So he was very much in favor of what we, and basically said if we didn't have a plan and we didn't have numbers on a plan, then he didn't know what to ask for and he couldn't help us. And so, again, this is going to be an important step to getting that help. I think I said that right.
Absolutely, Chair, County Manager. He needs substance. He needs a plan to be able to make some headway in the General Assembly.
And I'll add one thing, if I may. When I had my own company, I will say that one of the things that made the biggest difference on the creation of Dix Park was really getting everyone who wanted a park together and having a defined plan. And it allowed the policymakers, it allowed, in that case, the nonprofit, the private donors, to be able to really see concretely where things were going. So I'm a firm believer, and Jim is too, that the best way to get to your end result is to really have a plan that everyone can work off of. And so That's where we think we might be able to help you all.
Their proposal is before you. If you all have questions for Greer, then she's here. And
if you have any questions of her, just so the board knows, we need multiple options in dealing with and multiple avenues to address our NC-12 issues. And this is just another source that will certainly help us moving forward in that direction. So, but the floor is open if you have any questions that you'd like to ask.
I read through the slide. I was wondering if someone, Greer, perhaps could just walk us through it one more time? The graphic?
I can try, but I will, I would strongly recommend that we wait until General Trogdon can be here. He is the engineer, and I do not want to misstate. He is the technical expert.
County manager will do it, Greer. Thank you.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I'm just looking, and this is for you and the public. The goal is to create a long, mid, and short-term plan to address Highway 12 closures and to create an engagement strategy to organize all the entities that are going to be involved in that strategy to come together with the policymakers to try to move this thing forward. They can develop an engineering plan. They'll work with us. They know the players at NCDOT, and so they'll work with them and the Federal Highway Administration to develop a plan. It's proposed that the plan would offer a short-term solution, a list of potential funding options, provide a roadmap for long-term solutions, and be cost-efficient. They'll come up with a sort of a grassroots strategy. The technical director will be Jim Trogdon. He's a professional engineer. He was also the Secretary of Transportation and was with NCDOT for a number of years. There will be a community engagement, a marketing, a document phase of this that puts all those things together. And again, it will get something on the table that we can work from that says we need to build a little bridge here for this amount, or raise a road here for that amount, or move a road over there for this amount. And then we can start working towards making those things happen so that access on Highway 12 will be preserved and maintained. I mean, that's what our goal in all this is. So.
Was he there when the Etheridge Bridge was put in?
Yes.
Trogdon
yes.
there during that?
Yes, he was.
Because if you, I mean, that, to me, that's a prime example of that the bridges work. Because when the bridge was put in, and it was put in as an emergency, it was just like this, a temporary bridge to solve the problem, because we were cut off. That was when that storm cut in and took out the ranger station. And it was built, and then it shored up and showed that bridges work. So the fact that he knows the players, he knows the, I mean.
If we don't do something, whether it's with them or with somebody else, we're spinning wheels, because we've talked and met and traveled, and we've brought DOT down here. We've taken them on a bus. We've driven the roads. We've walked on the dunes. We've done all that stuff with them, trying to make sure they understand. As I think Natalie said, or maybe Beth said, their STIP funding, the Strategic Improvement Plan, has a formula.
We're never going to fit in that formula.
We'll never score enough on that formula to do it. We had a meeting with Lazaro. He was telling us how if it doesn't meet the STIP, then it goes into the regional plan. If it doesn't meet the regional plan, it goes into the local plan. And by the time it gets to the local plan, all the money's gone, so then the local stuff gets done. And so we kind of get squeezed out because we can't score. And so we've got to find, one, more affordable ways to do something to preserve access on Highway 12, and two, we've got to find ways to get those things done. And so hopefully this will help us move in that direction. Cost-wise, by my calculation, it's about $55,000 over the term of this contract.
That's what I saw, yeah.
And so that's what we'd be looking at to get their help to get us through those goals.
And we could pay for that, Matt, through contingency?
I was going to make a motion to retain Greer Beaty Consulting to conduct this study and provide us more solid short, near, mid, and long-term solutions to Highway 12.
Second.
Okay, it's a motion on the floor by Commissioner Ross. It's been seconded by Commissioner Balance. The floor is open for further discussion.
I've worked many years with Mr. Trogdon on some issues here in Dare County, and also pertaining even back to the conception of the Miss Katie project. He knows the area, he understands the problem, and he is a type of person that does think outside the box, and I support this wholeheartedly.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Anyone else?
Wasn't he director of DOT?
Yes.
Secretary of DOT.
Secretary.
Why didn't he fix it when he was director? What's he gonna do now that he couldn't do when he was director?
Because DOT funding is extremely limited.
So he's gonna be able to get it now?
Well, he's gonna certainly help us find options for funding.
You're talking
not just DOT funding.
Okay.
One last thing I'll tell
I'm
you.
open to it for 1 year, try it, see what
Right.
happens. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I just, you know.
I mean, you bring up, you
Spending
make a good point.
$56,000 a year on something that's probably not gonna do anything.
Well, let's take a step back. We're talking about a decade ago, and we're talking about a decade ago where, take Rodanthe, for example, they did come in and do beach nourishment in Rodanthe to preserve the highway. The problems a decade ago weren't as acute as the problems are today, and so, again, under the way DOT funds things, the formula didn't
Mine's
favor
been
us.
shoveling sand there for 30 years.
Yeah,
It's
so
been a
there you go.
long-term thing.
Yeah. Commissioner, I'm optimistic that we're gaining some ground because my conversation, and I know there's some reluctance with respect to dealing with Rabin, but he has acknowledged the millions of dollars in the last 20, 30 years that DOT has spent pushing sand in 12. And he's made it clear to me that maybe that's not the best way to go to continue saving Highway 12, that the legislature needs to finally step up to the plate and find other funding options to build bridges. As my task force recommends, the answer is more bridges.
Well, they had an opportunity to do it a long time ago when they discussed the, what was it, 15-mile bridge.
Yeah.
And then they said it was gonna cost too much money,
Yeah.
and then they shot it down.
Right.
Well, it's gonna cost about 10 times more now than what it cost 15 years ago.
That's true
10
if you
years
built a
ago, or
single
whatever.
bridge, but
So
that-
I just don't think that they're gonna do it now either.
Well, that's true if they build a single bridge, but.
Could I ask the
let me
county
finish.
manager? Sorry.
His finish is our task force has suggested, and so has the state, that shorter bridges. A perfect example is Commissioner Balance just pointed out. The Etheridge Bridge is working. I mean,
It's not working as a bridge.
well,
It's working as a bulkhead.
Well, it's working to ingress and egress off of Hatteras Island.
True.
You know, if we didn't have
Permanent
it.
structure.
Yeah.
Kinda
So-
like what we need on the other side.
But at any rate, go ahead.
I'm just trying to clarify, what is your point, sir, that we should not pursue this contract with this engineering firm
I
and
don't think
consulting
they're
firm?
gonna do anything. I think $56,000.
Would that be a no?
I mean, I'm open to it. Give them a shot, see what happens for 1 year. It's
Okay.
an annual contract.
Just clarifying. County manager, would you reiterate what Senator Lazara stated to you? You said a
Needed
few
a
moments
plan.
ago that without a definitive plan, both short, mid, and near, with cost and fact-based analysis, he's unable to really move forward seriously with it.
He believed that there are ways to get smaller amounts of money than $200 million bridges to do things to start beginning to solve this. But in order for him to pursue those and help us pursue those, he's got to have a plan. He's got to know where we're talking about doing.
Would this
what's
consulting
gonna
engagement
cost.
produce such a plan?
And this
Yes.
is a step
Thank
towards
you.
doing that.
Yes.
Look at the difference in the temporary bridging plan is huge. That's how Etheridge Bridge got there.
That's
It was
right,
a
it's
temporary
cost.
bridge.
Well, and that's how the jug handle bridge got there as well. I mean,
Yeah.
because there was a plan, yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, with that being said, those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, sign. Motion carries unanimous.
That brings us to item 7 on the agenda, and if Chuck Lysette would come up to talk to you about our transportation rates.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Chuck.
I'm here this morning on behalf of Dare County Transportation. Dare County Transportation receives its funding in 4 primary ways. 1 is through Dare County. 2 is through the ROPE funds, which are funded through North Carolina DOT, which are the Rural Operating Assistance Program. The collection of fares from individuals who just want to ride Dare County Transportation. And then finally, through the Non-Emergency Medical Transportation Program, which is administered by Medicaid. Dare County has been operating at a cost per mile revenue rate of $1.70 per mile. That rate was established prior to COVID. We don't have an exact date as to when that was established. In January of 2026, we completed the NCDOT worksheet to establish what our per mile rate should be, and it comes out to $3.92 per mile. Based on that figure, you have before you the Dare County transit rates that we would like approval for moving forward. We are requesting that there be no change in the per mile rate that we use for the ROPE funds. That is a grant program, and we draw down those funds throughout the year. It's a fixed amount. We are not requesting any change in the self-pay fares. Those will stay the same. We are requesting approval to charge $3.92 per mile for the non-emergency Medicaid transportation program.
What do we charge today, Chuck?
$1.70.
$1.70.
Sorry. Yeah.
When was the last time we had a rate increase?
It was prior to COVID. Don't know the exact year.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. And like I said, I sit on the Transportation Committee and going through this, and like Chuck said, this does not increase the individual's out-of-pocket for transfer, correct?
Correct.
It is just what we bill to Medicaid and Medicare.
Just to Medicaid.
Yeah, Medicaid, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Does Medicaid pick up all of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So why would we not do this?
I wanted to make sure that the Board of Commissioners was aware of all of our rate structure, so I'm asking you to approve all the rates. Doing the Medicaid reimbursement, that's what it costs per mile, and we should be able to get that reimbursement because of that. We don't want to change the other rates that are out there for Dare County Transportation.
There's no downside to our traveling, the people.
That's what I'm working, that's where I'm searching, Bobby. I'm digging for it.
Right.
So there's no increased cost to Dare County citizens?
Correct.
Correct.
Wonderful.
Is it, just out of curiosity, is this due to fuel?
It's a combination, well, the last time we looked at it was before COVID. It's fuel, insurance, cost of it's all of your fixed costs, salaries, maintenance, all of that goes into play, comes into play.
Business.
Yeah. And plus, this is also what makes
Presented. Is there a second? Seconded by the vice chair. Floor is open for further discussion. Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Chairman, that brings us to item 8 on the agenda. At the last board meeting, we went through and we had a slideshow and we talked about the recreation plan and what has been recommended to us by the consultants that did that plan after doing community engagement and figuring out what the community wanted with regard to recreation. When we looked at that, the cost of that was in excess of $50 million over time to get that done. And given that we didn't have a funding source to fund that, then the question came up and the decision was made to put out to the voters and say, if you all would like to do the recreation plan, here's a method to pay for that, and that's the quarter-cent sales tax increase that we talked about at the last meeting. With that said, in order to move that forward, you have to adopt a resolution that we give to the Board of Elections for them to set that at the November election, and so that resolution is in your packet. Would you like
Will
me
you
to
read
read
that resolution, please?
Whereas the Dare County Board of Commissioners over the course of several years was advised by its Recreation Advisory Board and by members of the public of a need to improve recreation facilities for our citizens. And whereas in response to those concerns, Dare County engaged McGill and Associates to study and determine the community's needs and desires for recreation and to make recommendations to the board based upon those findings. And whereas the McGill and Associates study showed that to make the needed improvements and upgrades to recreation facilities and to provide for the current and future recreation needs of the county, an investment of $56.9 million was needed. And whereas there are not revenue sources sufficient to fund such improvements, and a new source of funding is necessary to meet the county's parks and recreation needs. Whereas the North Carolina General Assembly has enacted the 1/4 cent county sales and use tax under Article 46, Chapter 105 of the North Carolina General Statutes, which authorizes counties to levy a local sales and use tax. And whereas in order to levy the local sales and use tax, the County of Dare must conduct a special advisory referendum on the question of whether to levy a local sales and use tax, and the election shall be held in accordance with the provisions of NCGS 163-287. And whereas it is the desire of the Board of Commissioners of Dare County to offer the possibility of such additional sales tax to the voters of Dare County in an advisory referendum pursuant to NCGS 105-537. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners for the County of Dare as follows. 1, a referendum is hereby called during the normal time the polls are open on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2026, at which there shall be submitted to the qualified voters of the County of Dare the question stated in Section 3 of this resolution. 2, the said referendum shall be held in accordance with the procedures of NCGS 163-287. The Dare County Board of Elections is hereby requested to conduct said referendum and take all steps necessary to that end in accordance with the provisions of this section. 3, the form of the question to appear in the ballots and in the instructions to voters for said referendum shall be substantially as follows: for or against local sales and use tax at the rate of 1/4% in addition to all other state and local sales taxes. Section 4, the clerk to the Board of Commissioners is hereby authorized and directed to mail or deliver a certified copy of this resolution to the Dare County Board of Elections within 3 business days after its passage hereof. 5, the Board of Elections shall publish a legal notice of the special advisory referendum in accordance with NCGS 163-287. 6, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption.
Thank you, County Managers. Any questions?
Yeah. So I thought we were going to discuss the $57 million at some point in the budget meetings, and here in line 3, the McGill and Associates study showed to make the needed improvements, upgrades to recreational facilities, provide for the current future needs of the county, an investment of $57 million was needed, 56.9. By signing this resolution in today, are we confirming that we're only going to spend the 25 cent on rec board?
No, we're not committing to spend any of the plan. You've got to get the referendum passed before you can make decisions on spending that.
Well, then why is that even in here?
If you move forward with the plan, then the referendum will cover the cost to implement the plan as well as provide dollars to cover the operations of the new facilities and the things that you just did.
I understand that, but I'm not good with that plan.
Okay. Well,
I'd like to see the money split up between the departments. I said that last meeting. I think that it'd be fiscally more responsible to spend maybe a smaller project on the rec department and spread it out amongst our departments. So if this is only locking us into that $57 million for rec departments, I'm going to vote no.
It does not lock you into it by statute.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Comment or clarify that?
I'm sorry, were you finished, Commissioner?
Are Are we still going to discuss this money at a later date, or are we just all in on this rec deal? Because that's going to determine the outcome of my vote.
You're going to have to discuss this again, because there's a lot of things you got to do to implement. If the tax were to pass and you wanted to move forward, you got to do a lot of things to move it forward. So yes, you have to discuss that again. You have to budget it, you have to bid it, you have to allocate it, you have to set up your timing, you have to decide what your priorities are. You got to do all that stuff before you can move forward with the plan. The plan gives you the outline of the needs, and then you all have to set, and it gives you somewhat of a priority for those needs, and you have to decide whether you're going to move forward with all of it or some of it, or how you're going to proceed.
Okay.
Commissioner Ross?
Yes, just wanted to clarify from some earlier public comment. Does this board have the authority on its own to pass a 1/4-cent sales tax increase on Dare County?
No.
Is this resolution in any way attempting to circumvent that lack of jurisdiction or authority?
No, it's to give you that authority.
Is this authority only available to this board after the results of a referendum of the community of residents in Dare County approving or rejecting?
Correct.
Okay, just want to make sure I got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ross. Anyone else?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor by Commissioner Balance to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Vice Chair. Floor is open for further discussion. Hearing none, those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, that brings us to item 9. We've been in contact with the Department of Transportation. As you know, their ongoing and continuing maintenance of Highway 12 involves pushing sand back up and building those dunes along the canal zone and other areas that are threatened. And they take that sand usually from the other side. It washes from east to west, and when it washes over to the west side of the road, they push it back onto the east side of the road. But there's a sand loss that occurs each time that occurs, and they're running, I say running out, they have issues with having sufficient sand to build the dunes back as they occur. And so as they get opportunities for sand and sand moves up that they haven't moved, they need a place to put it and hold it so that they can use it when the time comes to patch a hole in a dune somewhere. We have a bar pit, or not a bar pit, a sand storage pit over by the helipad in Rodanthe. It was designed and built for when we dredged out the emergency channel into the Rodanthe harbor, that the sand was pumped into that holding area until it dewatered, and then we would haul the sand out or do whatever with it so that it would be empty to be used for the next time there was a dredge event. For a number of reasons that we've talked about a number of meetings ago, the Corps hasn't and have gotten themselves into a catch-22 with dredging the Rodanthe harbor, so that they effectively can't do it. They can't dredge it because in order to dredge it, there has to be a need. When you identify the need, then they have to get in a budget. Then it takes 2 years to get a budget, and by then your emergency harbor is filled in, so we have to go around the Corps. And so what we've done is we've gone about getting our own permits to dredge that Rodanthe harbor channel, and in doing so, it would be done with a hopper dredge and not, or a bucket dredge, not with a pipeline dredge that needs a sand place to dump it. And so that makes that sand stored, that area available, and DOT would like to use that to put sand in and store it for when they need to patch holes in the dune. On the surface, that we don't have issues with that. I've talked with Barton about that from the position and the vice chairman, and there's no issues from the dredging side with that. What we've told them is that if you all allow them to do that, then they've got to do two things. One is there's an overflow drain that you have to keep in maintaining it if you ever are going to use it for dredge spoil, and it costs a significant amount of money to repair that, and so they've got to make sure they don't damage it, or if they do, they're going to repair it. And two, that if for some reason we had to dredge and we had to use a pipeline dredge and we needed somewhere to put sand, they would remove their sand so that our spoil site would be available for that, and they've agreed to do that as well. So with those two things, then it's before you all to see whether you would authorize them to use that spoil site in Rodanthe as their sand storage site as well.
So you need, excuse me, go ahead.
I was going to make the motion to approve, to let the Department of Transportation utilize that borrow pit. Because it's definitely another tool in the box we can use to help for Highway 12.
Certainly.
Good.
Second.
All right, so motion on the floor by the vice chair has been seconded by Commissioner Ballot. Floor is open for further discussion. Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimous.
Item 10 is the use of the former COA building, the building on Twyford down there. So when we built COA, the idea was that COA building was going to accommodate the needs of COA, and that ultimately they would give us that site and those structures to the county. And over time, what's happened is COA has been successful, even probably more successful than we anticipated. And they are using both the new COA for structure as well as the building on Twyford, and would like to continue doing that. And so with that said, there's the building, as you know, is in two halves. There's a breezeway between them. The western building is the newer of the buildings. It's the one that they use and is in good shape, and we've kept and maintained that. Now, I mean, the eastern the western part is the old roller rink, and we had our folks go in there, and our architects and engineers go in there, and they said it wasn't worthy of repair. It would cost more to repair it than it would to fix it. And COA basically said, whoa, stop, we think we can use it. Well, when they got ready to use it, they went in there with their folks, and they came out with the same conclusion that we already had, is that that building really isn't suitable to be repaired and can't be brought up economically to use. And so they're suggesting that that building be demolished and that we keep the newer building there to do that. And they would continue to use the newer building as the COA, as part of the COA campus. And that if they ever didn't use it for that purpose, if the census went down or we went to remote learning and all of a sudden they didn't need it, then all of that could revert to us as we originally planned. And so that's what's before you today, is to authorize, is to get on record that we support that plan so that we can move forward, one, with the demolition, and two, they can continue to use that site.
Are we doing the demolition?
Yeah, because
how does that, like, what's that look like? Because I thought,
so
who owns the property?
they own the property, but
Who owns the buildings?
they own, well, if you own the property, you own the buildings.
Well,
And
not
so-
always, but yeah.
Well, yes,
Go
you
ahead.
do. So they own all of it. But under the rules, just like schools can own the schools,
We have to maintain.
we have to fund it to
Right.
maintain it. So, we could give them the money to do the demolition, or we could just do it. It's much easier and simpler for us just to do it, and we've got to fund it anyway, and we've got, Dustin has done it a number of times before, and it's just easier and simpler. And so they would authorize us to demolish that point of the building, and we would do it if you all agree.
The reason we need to demolish it is become an eyesore? Is it dangerous?
We're putting money in it.
Well,
But why?
well, hang on.
Well,
It's not occupied,
Toys
it's
for-
not
Toys for
usable.
Tots or whatever uses that building.
So I'm
for
going to.
storage.
Yeah, I've been in there,
Storage.
yeah, I've seen that, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
tell you my thought, but I'll have to tell you that I didn't talk about this specifically with COA. COA leases a lot over adjacent to that property that they use for parking. And if this building was removed, then this part of the site could be used for that parking, and then they wouldn't have to continue to, or we wouldn't have to continue, because we fund them.
That's right.
To spend money for that leased parking area. And the building is, I mean, it's in pretty bad shape, and it's going to continue to deteriorate, and we don't want to keep painting it and putting roofs on it, and then if we're not going to do that, then it's going to look
Replace the
horrible,
water
and we need to get
lines,
rid of it.
electrical, stuff like that.
I mean, didn't we just replace the roof on that place?
I think we did on the
We did on
new
the,
part, but I don't know about the old part.
yeah, we did
Might
on,
have, I
Did
don't
on the,
know.
well,
we
I
did
don't
on the
know.
western part.
the western part, and that's the part that's gonna stay.
That's the
is
part we're gonna
western
keep,
part.
yeah.
The
Other
eastern
side
building
is
is the
gonna
one we're gonna keep, and the western part's when it's coming down.
We're keeping the eastern part, the new part.
Keeping the new
That was two
part.
conflicting things
I
right
get-
there just
I'm-
got said.
We're keeping the new part, the one at the far, if you drive up the parking lot, the one.
I'm very
furthest-
familiar with it.
Yeah,
I look
right.
at it every day.
There you go. Well, that's what we're keeping.
All right, I mean, I don't think that hardly anybody uses it. I mean, is the school using the other building now?
The school was using and is going to use that, they've run out of room, they're going to start putting some of their adult
They are
learning
gonna
stuff.
start using it over there. Okay, I just had never
They've
seen anybody
asked
there in
that-
5 years. All right, well, whatever you want, tear it down, tear it down. Ain't gonna hurt
Okay, pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve demolition.
There's a motion on the floor by the vice chair to approve
Stop.
demolition.
I'm sorry. The motion, I'm sorry, needs to be that we agree that they can continue to use that and not have to give us the property as we originally agreed, and that if they don't use it, then it would come back to us as we originally agreed. And then secondly, that you all would agree with or approve the demolition of the property.
Okay.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Did you get
That's a so
that?
moved.
Yeah.
Okay, is the maker of the motion, how about the second? Does the maker second agree to that?
Second.
Do you agree to the motion?
Yeah.
Okay. That was amended, so. All right, Commissioner Burris. Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimous.
Item 11 is the Airport Authority lease. In our ongoing saga with FAA trying to get approval to get our property released over there, one of the things that came up was they didn't think that the description that was in our lease that was done in 1970-something was sufficient to
Of course not.
describe the property, and they didn't think that we had spelled out well enough
It was good back.
who's paying for what. And so what this lease amendment does is it describes the property, and it says that the airport pays for all the use of the property, and the county has no responsibility for that. And so that's all that it does, and it's simply to satisfy a box on a checklist with the FAA to get us.
Did we get everything done?
We give them a stipend every year, but it doesn't go to any particular thing, and we give it to them because we want to support the airport, but not because it's our responsibility to maintain it. Yeah. So that's what this is for, and it's here for your approval.
So we got everything done, we're good? Finally agreed to everything? Did the
I
FAA
would-
finally
I
agree
would
to
tell
everything?
you that my perception is yes, but every time we get there, then
I
some
didn't know if
other,
that's what they approved or
some
not.
other person we never talked to comes up and says, oh, what about this?
Oh,
And we didn't even know we needed this, what about this? And so,
I've talked to them about it every day. 89 things is what it started out at.
yeah, there you go.
30,
So,
12, 3.
I think we're there because at least we are now having direct conversations with the FAA, which we couldn't get through to anybody before. And so we've had some pretty productive meetings. We've given them a lot of stuff. They gave us a checklist at our last meeting. This is the last thing on that checklist. And so when they get this, they have everything that they've asked us for, that they told us that we needed. And so we think that hope that it'll be a relatively smooth process to get those approvals.
Make a motion to approve the lease and authorize the county manager to sign.
I'll second it.
There's a motion on the floor by the vice chair to approve, is seconded by Commissioner Creef. Floor is open for further discussion.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, amend the motion for the chairman to sign, because that's how it's written.
That was chairman? Okay. Amended.
Second agree?
Yep.
Floor is open for discussion. Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimous.
Next is your consent agenda. And on the consent agenda, you have the approval of the minutes from February the 12th, the tax collector's report, the cable TV contract for EMS Station 2, the lease for the AT&T site on Link Road, library E-rate internet contract, the Pathway grant budget amendment, financial, travel, and policy updates, large item pickup for DuPont Trucking, budget amendments for the new emergency management grant, the Dare County DHHS public health increase for the youth center fundraising budget, the HHS Social Services North Carolina Department of Military and Veterans Affairs grants, and 12, the resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of an equipment installment financing agreement under NCGS 168-20.
Question on the large item pickup. Did we put, that went out for bid, right? Did that go out for bid?
So just like before, we bid the major contract, and DuPont was a subcontractor under our major contract. So when we have a storm, we can engage that contract.
Right.
And that's what we did, and then they sent DuPont out to do that work under the contract that we bid. And I think we bid that every 5 years.
So this is coming up for the?
I don't know what the term is, but I don't know when we did it before, but we do it as a part of our emergency operations plan so that we've got in place contracts.
Right.
And to meet all the FEMA requirements. And so we bid it on the cycle that they required. And
When it went out to bid, did you get any local bids?
no, now, remember, we didn't bid this event. We put out a bid to provide debris removing and set up what we were talking about. And typically those things are larger than what our people can do. And so when we get that in place, we have that contract, and then we can then implement it anytime we have a storm. And that way we don't have to wait 30 or 60 days for a bid process to do it, because we've already pre-bid it.
Right.
All right, and so that's what we've done, and we've simply implemented that. This is the company that is under that contract at the end of whatever the 5-year term is. And it's not in its first year, but I don't know how far along we are. We'll bid it again, and if the local contractors can meet the bid criteria, then they can bid, and they'll have their opportunities as well.
It says it went down roughly 56,000.
I'm sorry, it went down, yeah, from when it was, the debris level was a little smaller than the first time we did it.
Did they have the contract before?
Point being is, and with respect to Commissioner Balance's question, we get questions all of the time about local bidders. The point being is when we put this bid out, those local businesses have an opportunity to bid, and we don't get bids from them.
Right.
Well, there's some.
So then we get criticized because we're not giving business to local bidders. Well, how can we when we don't get bids from them?
I just want to understand the process.
There's some criteria that a lot of the local bid, and we have the same problem when we build things. For example, bid bonds. When you do one, they've got to be prepared to do up to like a $2 or $3 million debris removal, and they've got to be able to afford to buy the bonds to cover that.
Right.
And a lot of the smaller guys can't do that. Secondly, they got to have equipment and facilities available to meet a hurricane need, not just a little need. And a lot of the guys can't do that. And so it really makes it difficult for the local folks to bid it. And if you try to do every small debris pickup like we're doing and bid it, now you're waiting 60 days or more with all that debris out there that you can't remove it. And that's not acceptable either. So we don't have a lot of choices, and I get it from the local side, but that's just the way the rules are set up.
Thank you.
Yep. And they're not our rules, by the way. They're the FEMA rules.
Right.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion on the floor by Commissioner Balance to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Vice Chair. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimous.
Next is the Virginia, or your board appointments. The one that you have this month is the Virginia S. Tillett Community Center Advisory Board. Jonathan DeLucia and Sarah Hester Smith have resigned from the board. The nominating committee recommends Olivia Spencer to fill Sarah Hester Smith's position, and the seat remain by Jonathan Lucas. They're requesting that it remain vacant for now.
I nominate Olivia Spencer to fill the seat on the Virginia S. Tillett Community Center Advisory Board.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Chair. I believe Commissioner Burris. Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimous.
Your upcoming board and committee appointments, you have the Airport Authority in April with 1 term, Juvenile Crime Prevention Council with 1 term, the Mans Harbor Marina Commission with 3 terms, and the Older Adult Services Advisory Council with 2 terms. In May, you have the Veterans Advisory Council with 2 terms and the Zoning Board of Adjustments with 2 terms. And then in June, you have the College of the Albemarle Board of Trustees with 1 term. You have the Extraterritorial Jurisdiction District Town of Nags Head, 1 term. You have the Pheasant Center Advisory Board with 6 terms, the Hatteras Community Center Board. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, County Manager. That brings us to item 14, Commissioner's business, County Manager, Attorney's business. I'll go back to the County Manager for anything else he may have.
Yes, sir. So I have one thing, and the chairman and I have, again, in meeting with these folks about Highway 12, about beach nourishment funding, about all the other issues that we have, we've tried to reach out to our federal partners and our federal delegations. And as I was explaining to somebody this morning, we're kind of a gnat in their ear up there, and we don't have the connections to the right people to get the right things done. So we talked with our lobbyists that we use in North Carolina and asked could they help us in Washington, D.C., and they do have a lobbying group that is in Washington, D.C. We talked with them at some length, what was it, Bob, about a week or 10 days ago?
Yeah.
To see what they could do. We talked to them, about lobbying for federal funding or helping us find federal grants or navigating the federal structure to find funds to do all those things that were listed in the chairman's letter that he sent to our delegation in Raleigh. We're trying to engage our delegations and the people that make decisions in D.C. along those same lines. So they've offered to serve as our lobbying firm in D.C. for those issues and for any other issues that we bring for them. What they have proposed, we pay our lobbyists in Raleigh, I think we pay them $5,000 a month while the legislature's in session. The group from D.C. is proposing that we pay them $7,500 per month. They've proposed that we do this through December and see what results we get, and then we can look back at December and decide what we're going to do going forward, if our money's been well spent or not. And so what's before you is, do we authorize them to move forward? That's about 10 months, and you're talking about a roughly $75,000 commitment if we choose to go in that direction for them to lobby for us from now till December.
There's nothing in writing here or anything, right?
I have a
Yeah,
letter, but I just got it Friday afternoon, or you'd have it, so.
Okay, do we have it?
You should have
I'm
that.
sorry.
You should have
Oh,
that in front of you.
No, I have a Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the lease agreement.
That's not it. That's,
I
you need the McGuire.
Yeah,
I'm glad I did, I don't know.
I'm gonna need to understand more before I'm willing to say yes. I just don't know, Bobby. I don't have a yes or no in mind. I just don't know.
Okay.
Can we table it to next-
Clerk to email, I thought you had emailed that proposal to the board.
I thought we did too. But
Yeah, I thought you had
apparently not, so-
emailed that to them.
I'd like to see what we've got, with what we're doing right now, too. Because we've just getting Greer in there, and
Yeah.
can we look at this
We'll
again next
get-
month?
We'll get the clerk to send you that proposal. You'll have time to review it. We'll talk about it at our,
We can do it at at our April meeting.
that's right, we do it at April.
We'll bring
meeting.
it back. Okay,
Bring
that's
it back
fair
up.
enough.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay, yep. That's all I have.
Yeah. Thank you, County Manager. Ms. Knight, Caitlin is sitting in for our Public Information Officer, Dorothy Hester, today. Caitlin, thank you for doing that. Is there anything you need to share with us you'd like to?
Yes, I'll just share one thing, if I may. Our Dare A250 Fair will take place in downtown Manio, You may have seen the release that went out last week. We will have free tickets that will go live next week. So I just wanted to highlight that darea250.org/fair is where folks can get those tickets, and we're only ticketing the evening portion of the event. The morning event will take place from 11 to 4 downtown Manio. There will be vendors, historical storytelling, street performers, and 2 stages set up downtown. And then it will transition at 3:30 to Roanoke Island Festival Park. And since there's a capacity of about 3,500, that's the portion that we'll be ticketing. So get your tickets as quickly as possible next week when they go live.
Great. Thank you, Caitlin. I believe I was stated correctly in Chairman's comments that the state of the county sold out in Dare, right?
It's almost. I think we have 10 tickets still
10
available.
tickets.
So,
Okay. Well,
dareandT.gov/SOC to get those.
It
remaining
will
10
be
tickets.
because we usually have more and we have to turn folks down. But once again, we'll tape that as well, correct?
It will be recorded, and we usually release it the week following
Right.
your presentation. And then we'll have, of course, the Saturday's presentation in Buxton.
Right.
And there are tickets available for that. So I think we've got about 30 people signed up for the Buxton portion. So we can still seat quite a few more.
Okay, I moved it down there, Mary Ellen, let you folks know. Okay.
30, looking for more.
Thank you, Caitlin. Yes, sir.
I was looking at my list here. The gentleman spoke earlier about the coyote issue. I didn't know whether you were going to speak
Yes,
to
you
that.
did,
Yeah.
Mary Ellen and I have talked about that several times. I've talked with NC Wildlife Resources, and they're prepared to come down to Buxton or Frisco, wherever we want to have them come meet, and have a community meeting to talk to them about coyotes and what they can do, how they can help solve some of those problems, and we would be glad to set that up. It's just a matter of picking a date and a place, and they said they'd be glad to help us out. So we can do that. We've done that before in other areas where we've had coyote problems, and they've done that in some of the towns where the towns have had coyote problems, and so we can do that as well.
And I think Dorothy was also going to put a link on the website to either the Park Service or the Wildlife that had some additional information on the website so people could click over if they weren't able.
Mechanisms for that is funds that they get from the lottery, and so their superintendent has just signed those requests, and I'll need Bob to sign them before we can execute those. So
I would say, just as an abundance of caution, someone make a motion to approve the use of the lottery funds and allow the chairman to direct those to the school board.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
Motion on the floor by the vice chair, seconded by Commissioner Balance. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimous.
thanks.
That brings us to Commissioner's business. And Commissioner Burris, will you kick that off, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very quick, we had a great chili fundraiser yesterday at McGrath's Burger Shack. Shout out to them for hosting, for the Dare Education Foundation to help raise money for them. And it was a packed house in there. It was a wonderful event. We had a lot of fun. And that's always good to give back and be at these fundraisers, one of the fun parts of our job. Secondly, tomorrow is voting day for the primaries. So I encourage everyone, regardless of party affiliation, get out and vote. It's our right, and we need to exercise it, and it's our civic duty. And it's something I hope everyone will have the chance to do tomorrow is get out and vote and support your candidates. That being said, support your people. Don't be derogatory towards the other folks. Make sure you support your folks and leave it at that. I think that's the best way to handle that. and rise above. So, the other thing I have to say is looking forward to a busy spring here. The A250 is getting going. I do have plans to try and get around to all of those locations. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I'm amazed that somebody's already done it, so congratulations. That was quite something to see, and that's all I have this month, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Balance.
I'm going to be quick this time.
Pardon?
I said I'm going to be quick this time.
Wow.
It has been a fun month, and I have finally de-thawed. My feet, it took a little while, but I got there. So, first flight high school girls are in the first round of playoffs. So the game's tonight. I think it starts at 6 at First Flight High School. Our high school girls are playing in the playoffs. So.
Oh, it's tonight at 6?
Yes, I'm going.
All right.
I mean, I'm up here already. I might as well hang out for the day, right? I can find something to do. Actually, I am, so the RPO has been asked, I'm on the RPO for Dare County, and
What's
they've
the
been.
RPO again, Mary?
I'm sorry, the Rural Planning Organization for the Albemarle Commission. So that's what this whole STIP thing and everything that everybody's talking about with the roads. There's that, going to that with Bob and Bobby on Thursday, and looking very forward to being in Raleigh to advocate for our roads. It's going to be a big one. I did want to remind everybody down in Hatteras about that state of the county. Please come out and see it. It's free. Just go in and register. And we're doing, I think the doors are opening about 9 or 9:15. I think Dorothy's going to have coffee and all, and then it'll start at 10. So that's really important to hear from the chairman on that, and I'm excited for it to be down in Hatteras. I want to congratulate our employees of the month, and I'll get teary-eyed because I'm really get emotional about stuff like this, but I don't think anybody comprehends what this lady does for us. Like, the employee of the year could not have, how many times I've called her and emailed her and, can you do this, can you do this? And she never says no, she always takes care of it. Huge, like when you're trying to juggle so many things, she's on it, and appreciate you so much. But also, just to acknowledge all of our employees. I love the Employee of the Month. I love that, taking the time to recognize those that step above and beyond is just really important, and I'm really glad that we're able to do that for them and showcase their hard work for us. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Ross.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No wetsuit. He didn't wear a wetsuit this year. I'm proud of him.
There is absolutely no shame on this board from our chairman. I mean, I valiantly went in to that 39-degree water, if you can believe it.
Yes.
39 degrees.
I saw you. I saw
And
a
it
picture.
was a great fun day for a great cause. So congratulations to all of our Special Olympians. Commissioner Balance, you took the words out of my mouth. I will not elaborate other than to echo the sentiments of our service pin award members or winners, recipients Barton and Ray. Of course, our 12 employees of the month, and Skylar, simply the best. So hats off there. Listen, this Highway 12 thing is gaining traction, and I could not be more encouraged. I know that the letter campaign yielded results. We have a Greer Beaty consultancy now going to look at it. County Manager, you emphasized what Senator Lazara was looking for. We have the people on Hatteras Island mobilized. We have a potentially short, middle, and long-term plan coming from this consulting, and I couldn't be more excited. This has been and remains a strategic challenge to the county, and I'm very, very impressed that we have moved it to this point, and it's gaining momentum and accelerating, so thank you. Number 3, couple of event reminders. March 15th, St. Patrick's Day Parade. The Kelly's Parade is on. March 28th, a big event for...
Go back to that.
Yes, sir.
Let them know we got a float. Let them.
Yes, the Dare County Commissioners will have a float in the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Yes, Mary Helen, we will be there. We will be there en masse as a group celebrating this wonderful holiday. On the 28th, the OBX Thrive Initiative. I see Dr. Davies in the back, one of the leaders there from Health and Human Services, along with our hospital, and it is a very, very impressive county-wide effort to develop very healthy living habits and live longer, happier, healthier lives. That event was on March 28th at Duckwoods Country Club, and I'm going to take a personal moment here and embarrass one of our staff. I have to ask Ms. Kite, what is going to happen 2 months from today to the day? Please answer.
I thought surely you were going to call me out for only dipping a toe in during the polar plunge.
Really?
I was letting that go. This is more important to you. What is it?
My wedding.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Ross.
You gotta put in the budget for costumes.
Yeah. Vice Chair. How about the Vice Chair? Vice Chair?
Yeah, I got a couple things. First off, Skylar, very well deserved. We cannot do what we do without your help. You make our jobs 1,000 times easier. Even though it's not an easy job, but you do your best to make it as easy as possible for us, and I cannot thank you enough. I agree with Rob's sentiments. Highway 12 is taking root and is going. Mr. Chairman, I know when you first established the Highway 12 Task Force, I could see things starting to happen even at that point, and now we're starting to really roll. And hopefully we can get some more things happening on Highway 12, because that is a vital part to Hatteras. The polar plunge was fun. It was cold. I thoroughly enjoyed diving into the water in my swimsuit. And
That's not true.
Well, yeah, it was. No, diving in was fun. Just when I came up, the second wave hit me right in the face.
He dove in, he came up that way, went shook his face, I was like, ooh.
That was not too fun. But yeah, it's something about, salt water rushing up your nose just doesn't feel good.
His eyes were like.
Yeah. But anyway, I enjoyed it, and the main thing there was to support our athletes in Dare County, and for them to raise $20,000 more than what their goal was is outstanding. Is very outstanding, and my heart and my pledge and everything in my goes out to them, and I want to support them 110%. Coming up March 21st. Dare Med Flight open house at the hangar, the new hangar over in at the airport, from 10 to 1. Come on out, and of course get to look at the helicopter, and also the EMS staff will have different stations out there where you can learn some first aid and some life-saving procedures as well. And also in past years, I don't know this year, I haven't heard yet, but they normally have cookies. So come out and get you a cookie. Look at Dare Med Flight. Look at that operation. It is truly remarkable. I can say this, that Dare Med Flight and with Dare County EMS, there is less than a handful of EMS helicopters in the United States that are not supported by a trauma center, and Dare Med Flight is one of those. So it's a very impressive organization. Please come out and take a look. We also have the favorite part of all of our commissioners' meetings, our Pet of the Week.
Our Pet of the Week this week is Sunshine. This sweet girl was brought into our care from another shelter, who sadly could not keep her any longer. This is a new fresh start for her. We are excited to see her find her forever home. She's great on a leash, house-trained, and adores people. To adopt Sunshine, or foster one of our other animals, come visit us Monday through Friday at our shelter located in Manio. For more information, visit our website at obxspca.org or visit our OBX Facebook page.
So definitely run out to the OBX SPCA, take a look at Sunshine, and maybe you can give her a forever home. And I think you might have to beat Mary Ellen Balance down there, because she was like adoring that little puppy dog. So.
No, you took one already.
Yeah, so definitely go down to SPCA. Let's give Sunshine a forever home. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Commissioner Bateman is unfortunately not able to be with us today. He had excused absence. He's out of the state.
He's taking care of international affairs for Dare County.
That's right. Commissioner Creef.
Well, it started off on a good note. I don't know how many people watched, but I most certainly did with most of the country, watched the Olympics and obviously the gold medal hockey games, women's and the men's. I don't want to get in that argument. But anyway, that was incredible for us to take home the gold first time since 1980. It was an amazing game to watch, overtime goal. All the USA chants, the pride, the team coming back for the State of the Union with all their gold medals. It was an incredible thing, and I hope everybody enjoyed that as much as I did. As far as county stuff goes, had some concerns about some of the fields in Mania. I'm going to work on that. We're going to get with the school board and hopefully get something done about that. Fuzzy, to talk about what you spoke of in public comment, I believe that we do need to look into a full-time option for the Veterans Affairs. You're not the first veteran to say something about that. I've had a few reach out to me personally about that. I do believe that we need to potentially look into that moving forward. Bobby, I don't know if there's anything for that.
The answer is we have asked her before to
That's
do
right.
that, and she didn't want to work full-time.
Right.
So it isn't because we didn't offer the opportunity.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about it in a while, so I guess
Well,
we can
what
explore
I'd
that
like to
again.
suggest is we go back to her, ask her, and then bring back a proposal in April with whatever additional cost it would be for us. If she's willing.
Bobby, just recently, she approached me on that. She and her husband, we chatted just briefly, but it was something I was going to follow up, so, yeah.
And she may have changed her
Yeah.
mind, but
Yeah.
in the past, we have made that
Yes,
offer.
yes.
And-
Well, it seems like she did have a change of heart
Right.
based on my
Well, that's
conversation.
good. If
Yeah.
you'll come back with us with a confirmation of her willingness to do that and what additional cost it would be, we can address that at our April meeting.
I'm looking at Sheila, she'll take care of that.
Okay, Sheila or whoever.
Look, Sheila, I'm working on it right now.
She's on it right now.
Thank you.
Sorry for the interruption, Commissioner Creef.
No, that's a good interruption. That's fantastic news. That's what I wanted to hear. That's great. Other things we got is coming up, obviously, we got the 250 celebration. Now that it's moved to Mania, I think that's a good place for it, here on Roanoke Island where it all started. So I'll be attending that, and I love American history, and what a better place to do it than the first place that was ever attempted colonization in the entire United States. So that's a cool deal. Moving forward from that, obviously, we just had the Marine Fisheries meeting up in Kitty Hawk. Another pointless agenda item, going after bonita with no real stock assessments, no data. Once again, proving that the Marine Fisheries Board is only a agenda-driven board, and as many scientists as they pay and have on the marine biologists the state pays over there at Marine Fisheries, they certainly don't utilize them because they do not have any valid data at all. And they shut down my trout again. Other than that, I hope that everyone has a wonderful spring coming up. Temperatures are getting warmer. I know everybody loves that. Have a great spring.
Thank you, Commissioner Creef. I too watched a lot of the Olympics, and my hat's off to the men and women hockey and all the rest of the recipients, but Canadians said we cheated. The referees said we cheated. Said the referees cheated, gave us the game, especially the men.
Well, they literally got caught cheating in curling, so 51st state.
Pretty sad. You get beat and you can't handle the pressure. My last item was about the veterans, and thank you, Mr. Holt, for your comments, and appreciate that, and we'll look into that. Get back to us in April. we may have some timing issues with this McGuire Woods in DC. So I'm going to ask the board to take about a 20-minute break and take a look at that proposal. County manager, share with us what your thoughts may be there with respects to doing this now rather than waiting until April because of our situation with.
I don't know if it will matter, but in talking with Congressman Murphy's office, they were giving me the idea that the windows for getting earmarks and funding choices will close here shortly, and I was concerned that if we waited until April to give them the go-ahead, we may miss the deadlines to get into any of those appropriations. That doesn't mean we will, or that doesn't mean we'll get anything, but at least we haven't maybe passed up the opportunity. So that was the
Right. And I
issue
think,
I had.
But then again, I'm sorry, just a question there. The consultants don't put in that request, though. Greg Murphy would put in that request, correct?
So the issue, what the consulting group is going to do is going to find us, hopefully, not only advocate for normal appropriations, but for grants and other things, for earmarks, for whatever else they can come up with that helps us move these things forward. There's some dollars that have to be spent before you can bid things. I don't know what the grants are out there for, but there may be opportunities to get a grant that would let us put some more sand on a beach somewhere, or, do something with a dune line that we need to repair, or, one of those other things that was in the chairman's letter. There may be some opportunities to get into the word of funding. Again, I'm speaking out of school. I don't know what. What I don't want to do is wait a month and miss those deadlines as things start gearing back up. Right. Because they recess in the summer. So.
And we could go back to them as well and ask them if they would consider us contracting with them on a monthly basis and see if they would entertain that. That way, we don't have to go till all the way to December. It's just another food for thought to run that by them. But I would like to take a recess for you to have a chance to look at that, and then we'll come back and discuss it.
I think it says we can terminate it on 30.
We can terminate in 30 days. Yeah, that's what the contract says. Yes, sir. Yeah. So can I have a motion to recess for 20 minutes?
Motion to recess for 20 minutes.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor by the vice chair. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Balance. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimous. County Board of Commissioners meeting back to order. And in reference to this McGuire Woods proposal, we have some concerns with it, and we need to work that out with them. So we will go back to them with those questions and issues that we have concerns with, and see if we can include it in their proposal. But if I have to, we'll call a special meeting in a couple of weeks after we've ironed this out to discuss it further, if that meets the pleasure of the board.
I'm good with it.
Okay. All right. With that being said, then I need a motion to adjourn until 9 a.m. on April the 7th.
At 11:29, I make the motion to adjourn.
Right,
We're before 11:30.
There's a motion.
This hasn't happened in a long time.
There's a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Balance. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the vice chair. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you.